A long summer of hard racing, close finishes, and non-stop action is coming to a close. With one final race on the calendar, the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge will close the year out with a classic. Multiple championships hang in the balance, and what better place to finish the year than Road Atlanta on the weekend of the Petit Le Mans? It all comes down to this, the final race, right now on Fox Sports. On a gray and damp afternoon in the red clay hills of North Georgia, the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge will crown its 2014 champions. Welcome to the Continental Tire season finale from Road Atlanta. Hi everybody, I'm Bob Varsho alongside Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. We had very heavy rain move through the area just within the last hour or so, and there is a chance that we may get more. But then again, we've had no problem finding storylines on this final weekend of the season. Great championship battles in both Grand Sport and Street Tuner classes. A qualifying session that dramatically impacted the potential for someone to win a championship today, and of course the threat of ongoing rain. Start wherever you like, Cal.
Well, both championships are perfectly poised, Bob. It's been a great battle all year in GS, and in recent races become a two-horse race between the number 46 four-line BMW and the number 6 Stevenson Camaro. With a superb win at Coda, Hinman now has grabbed that lead, as you can see, but it's only 5 points. And if Liddell and Davis win today, Hinman would need to finish second to claim the championship. But there's been a twist in this tail, Dorsey, after qualifying.
Boy, Calvin, you're right about that. A very scary moment on the second lap of qualifying for Max Riddle. Him and his Aston Martin down the back straightaway, fastest part of the racetrack. No rear brakes. This car is not stopping at all. Gets off the track, through the gravel trap, unprotected wall ahead, and a very big impact. That essentially stopped the entire qualifying session. So what's that mean? Well, for Trent Hinman, who was leading in points, he had a strategy about going out of the pits and warming his tires for a lap or two. It came out to bite him. He didn't get a good time. He'll start 17th. The guys chasing him in the points, Rob Liddell, Andrew Davis, their strategy, Andrew Davis was supposed to go out and just go as hard as he can right away, get a number on the board. That was the right thing to do. He sits on pole.
Well, they have 2.5 hours to figure it out before we crown our champions. Right now, let's hear from the protagonists in the GS battle, beginning with Brian Till.
Well, Trent Hinman and John Edwards have had a bit of an up and down season. They recaptured the lead in the Grand Sport division in the last round, but Trent, qualifying didn't go the way you wanted to. In fact, it didn't go at all. You guys start back at the back. How does that change your strategy for this weekend?
Well, you know, it's going to make us rely on strategy calls more than actual track position itself. I mean, we're going to have to be smart like how we were in Coda. I have 100% of my faith in these fall line guys. I feel like they're the best team in the paddock, and if we're going to get it done, it's going to be with these guys. So overall, we're just going to pick our way to the front, keep the nose clean, play a smart race, and we're going to see what we can do. But I really feel like we can pull this off.
Be a combination of speed and strategy. Chris Neville is with another team that knows how to use strategy to their advantage. Chris?
Well, Brian, Robin Liddell and Andrew Davis just trailing by 5 points. And Robin, you guys have had such a strong second half of this season, but your competition, they're starting in the back of the grid today. Does that change your strategy at all?
Well, it doesn't really change our strategy, but it probably changes theirs. And of course, that can throw up some different scenarios for them, which ultimately, with this inclement weather we're seeing today, it could actually play out very well for them. I mean, you know, after qualifying yesterday, we're obviously very happy to be on the pole. They were at the back. You know, I'm not one to gloat or be happy about that, because I know that there's no prizes for qualifying. It's all about today, and today's going to be a really tough event, much like it was at Kota, making the right tire call at the right time, making sure we're in the right spot in the last 30 minutes. So they, if anything, as much as they're back there and it's not a good spot to start in a race like this, you know what, it does open up some options for them. We're just going to do our thing. We've been strong all year. We've won 3 races, and we know how to win with this team, and we're really looking forward to getting into the race.
Stevenson Camaro starting up front, trying to grab this championship. Bob?
And now let's turn to the Street Tuner class, where things are a little more complicated, Cal.
Well, as you can see, Eric Foss has a 9-point lead, but a top 5 will clinch the championship even if Nonamaker wins. You look at the others on the board there, they have a very outside shot. It would take a disaster for Foss and Nonamaker for those guys to be in the mix.
Let's hear from Eric Foss, standing by with Brian Till.
Actually, Bob, it's Wayne Nonemaker down here with me right now, and Wayne and his Team Salen's team have led the ST Championship for most of the season. They slipped back to second the last round at COTA. Wayne, you bring in prototype race-winning driver Michael Valiente to help out this weekend. New driver and a championship on the line. Does that change your approach at all, or is it business as usual down here at Team Salen?
Hey, it's mostly business as usual. We had our Salen's hot dogs, so all ready to go. Michael's come in, done just exactly what we asked him to do. He's done a good job of adapting to the car. We competed against him a couple times this year. He's adapted well to the Porsche. But no, what's really changed our game plans is I don't know what this weather's going to do. We've had a lot of drama in our points chases before, and the weather is really exciting today.
A lot of unknowns out there, but what they do know, they got a hot Italian in the car right now. Chris?
Well, Brian, it's Eric Foss who's trying to grab this championship. And Eric, you guys really have momentum on your side. You've got a win and a second place the last 2 outings, and also this racetrack. You've got 11 years of experience teaching here. You've got to feel pretty confident about this championship run.
Yeah, well, it's Continental SportsCar Challenge, Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. Anything can happen. We got some crazy mixed conditions out there. My co-driver Jeff just ran a great race in the IMSA GT3 Cup, but everyone's starting the race on dry Continental tires, and that's what we did at Austin, and had a great result at COTA. So, we're just going to take a little gamble. We'll see how it all goes, and if we get the championship, that'll be great. But I'm not going to be too hurt if we don't get it. But trust me, I'm going to try.
Yeah, he's looking pretty calm down here, Bob.
Well, you don't hear a racer say that very often. I'm not about the championship. Anyway, let's take a closer look now at the 2.54-mile 12-turn Road Atlanta.
Well, Road Atlanta is just north of the city of Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. It is one of the most revered racetracks, extremely high speed, 2.54 miles in length with 12 turns, a lot of elevation change, and none of this is good when it's slippery out, which it is right now.
And that means all of that grass at the track verge will be wet. No slowing down before you reach those concrete walls. Our Continental Tire starting grid is across the top of your screen. Blue background for the GS cars, gold for the ST cars. Checking out our onboard cameras on the pole with Andrew Davis in the GS Stevenson Camaro and with Ian James in the Mustang Boss 302R. Down through turn 12, green flag waves, and we're underway.
Well, a nice start there by Andrew Davis, but look at this. Scott Maxwell slices that Mustang to the outside and screams through and takes the lead by a big margin as they climb the hill, Dorsey.
That happens here a lot on this racetrack at Road Atlanta. The outside gets a good run down that downhill as the ST start, as we see it right here.
Big gap between the GS and ST fields, and as you can see, a lot of water along the verge where the curbing is. These drivers are going to have to be really careful in these opening laps.
Look at this. Michael Valiente has been roughed up here a little bit. He's dropped that front row starting grid all the way back to 5th as they head up into turn 3.
Hopefully no problem with the car. He has dropped back another position now.
Well, think about his position, Dorsey. He's in here to try and bring that car into a strong position when he hits pit lane. He can't afford to take any risks with the championship on the line for Wayne Nonemaker.
Look at these guys through the S's side by side. You usually want to be single file by there because it's so tight and wet.
A little bit of a dry line on the downhill portion of the S's.
Where you have to be careful is running out and using those painted curbs. They're on the dry weather Continental Tire as the guys mentioned, but if you run out wide, you're going to have zero grip, so you have to be careful.
Calvin, that's the challenge right now. The track had dried a little bit. In fact, the Team Salen's group had split their strategy on tires, but Michael Valiente indeed is on slicks. And with the cooler temperatures and that cool racetrack, it's going to take a while. In addition, he doesn't know the car all that well. I asked Wayne why he didn't finish, and he said, well, he just doesn't know the car as well as I do. Certainly he's quick, but it's going to take him a while to get used to it. And those slick tires right now, very, very treacherous track conditions.
Yeah, the team Michael typically runs with haven't competed in this round and at COTA also, so he was available, and they were looking for someone to really try and get the championship here for the Salen's team. So he's a great guy to draft in, but he's got to be careful here driving a new car.
Yeah, well, Michael was driving that Honda. That's front-wheel drive. This Porsche rear-wheel drive. Michael's a pro. He'll adapt. No question about it.
But what a job to adapt to a new car in a high-pressure race like this, under these mixed conditions, and now we're getting reports of raindrops along the pit lane.
Carl Gimbel continues to lead this ST class, his first career pole position yesterday. So that little Honda's really hooked up, coming off a big win at COTA, he and Ryan Eversley.
Checking with the big V8 GS cars now. Scott Maxwell leads, Eric Curran, Davis the pole sitter, Matt Bell and Brad Jager.
Curran up to second. I know he was very frustrated after qualifying, Bob. Felt like he didn't really get a clean run. Should have been further up the grid.
I say a very high-speed racetrack. This corner is turn 7, is the slowest corner on the racetrack. It's still about 40 miles per hour, however. This long straightaway, well, it's downhill, and it's like a roller coaster you can fall off of. It's a lot of fun around here.
Further back, Trent Hinman, who desperately needs to get to the front and catch that number 6 Camaro, is up to 15th place from his 17th starting position.
Yeah, probably not the progress that he and that team were looking for, but you can throw it away early by getting too aggressive. You would have to think in these conditions, Dorsey, you would see a caution or two here today. So that's probably what they're banking on. Just be patient, be careful, don't make a mistake and throw it all away, and just give the championship to Liddell and Davis.
You don't dare make a mistake here. You drop a wheel off at the speeds these cars run on that wet grass, and your day will be over.
Stevenson won this race last year with Matt Bell and John Edwards teaming up. As we look at Matt Bell now as he heads up to turn 3 and down through these S's.
Bell sharing with Andy Lally. They had problems with the driveline during practice and qualifying. They wound up changing out the engine, transmission, and the differential.
And the great news about that, Dorsey, is you can actually share the data from the other cars. So if you think you're a little bit off, you look at what your team sister car is doing, and they could see they are way down on the straightaway speed and consequently made that decision.
It basically took the gas cap off and rebuilt everything under it, is what it says.
See that dry line really establishing. This is what making it tricky for Trent Hinman, because to make a move, you have to go offline onto that damp part of the racetrack, and on these dry weather tires, that's not going to give you the grip you're looking for in the brake zones.
They might have picked up another spot. And this is where Trent Hinman, who is still very, very early in his racing career, has to have the patience of a veteran. He's just got to pick off cars one at a time and get to 2nd place, which would clinch the championship for him if he can get there. We'll follow his progress. A quick break coming up, and then we'll return to Road Atlanta. A great race in the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge.
Hi, I'm Billy Johnson, driver of the number 158 Multimatic Ford Racing Miller Motorsports Park Boss 302R. And I'm here to talk to you about the Continental Tire on-track track description of Turn 12 here at Road Atlanta. Turn 12 is a really fast corner, one of the gutsiest corners in North America. It's almost full throttle in our big, heavy GS race cars. And the key is to carry as much speed through the corner as you can and lift just as little as possible and still make the corner. But here today, it's pouring rain, it's really narrow, and that corner can get very slick. So it's going to be definitely very exciting and a corner to keep an eye on for the race.
Turn 12 at Road Atlanta truly is a breathtaking corner, not only for the drivers, but for those of us standing behind the fence watching them fly through there.
That's what's so much fun as a spectator, to come to a racetrack like this, to see cars that really are going as fast as you go around this place. It's breathtaking. And that turn 12, it will take your breath away.
Yeah, we were on board there with Billy's teammate Ian James, who currently holds down the 5th spot, and you see him working the car really hard down through the S's. Fun racetrack. This really has a lot of rhythm to it, and some corners really take an awful amount of commitment, like Billy Johnson was talking about. Certainly turn 12, going up the hill into turn 1, that's when you can really make a lot of time up on.
GS cars working the slower ST traffic now.
As we were watching Scott Maxwell run up front, he's lost a position to the 0-1, and I checked in down at the team with Larry Holt. He said we set up a little bit, soften the car a little bit for the wet. Now what that means for the folks at home, especially on a high-speed racetrack, you want a car in the dry that doesn't have a lot of roll. We call that a very stiff chassis, but when the grip goes away, like when the rain comes, you want to soften that chassis up a little bit. So maybe soften the springs, soften the shocks, and let the weight roll through the car much more gradually and build grip. That's what they've done. They've softened up the shocks just a little bit. He said it shouldn't hurt them too much in the dry, and it should help them in the wet. The problem is, I think it's more dry right now than wet, guys.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and we actually saw the lead change with Eric Curran getting around Maxwell here as we get into turn 1. That corner, as I said, takes a lot of commitment. Watch this. Scotty just gets a little bit wide out on the damp part of the racetrack there, Dorsey, and Eric slides it to the inside.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that softened chassis like that. You get that roll, and you got to control it from the driver's standpoint. And with it drying up as much as it is right now, it's got too much roll.
To settle down here a little bit, Davis is settling down nicely there in the 3rd spot. That would get the job done based on where Trent Hinman is right now, which is 7th place. But not a lot to play with there.
on board with Andrew Davis. You saw the brake lights flash in that replay. It looked like Davis wanted to follow Curran up past Maxwell.
He would gain 6 points on Trent Hindman if these positions stayed the same, but I don't think they will.
And notice he's got the sister car from Stevenson Motorsports, number 9, right behind him. And here comes Trent Hindman in that red, white, and blue 46 fall line BMW M3.
And he's done a really nice job in picking his way through here, Dawson. I think in some ways with the championship on the line, his age, the experience factor, I think maybe if it started on the front row, it would have been more pressure on him than really starting at the back and just racing his way through the pack like he's doing.
You know, I totally agree with you. You get back there where he's at right now and you just let the race come to you. You don't have to force the issue. Just drive the car, get a good feel for the car, and then watch what happens. Long way to go in this one.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, Trent Hindman is just 19 years of age. This championship would mean a great deal to him.
He's been under pressure all year long. You know, new driver, everybody thought sooner or later he's going to make a mistake or whatever. It's not been. I mean, he's been rock solid.
Yeah, we don't mean to make it sound as though the mistake in qualifying was his. I'm sure he was following the team plan for that session.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's two ways of doing it, you know. You go out there and let the pressures and temperatures come up in the tires, and then you feel the car and go for it. I did it the other way. I did it exactly like Andrew Davis. I wanted to put a number up really quickly in the event something happened like that, and then ride for a while, see where that number gets you, you know.
Well, I spoke to his teammate John Edwards, and he said we've really been doing that all season. We like to just gradually build the pressure in the tires. So it's not really the question of just going out and taking it easy. They just want to gradually build the pressure in the tires so it maybe doesn't peak quite as quickly, but the session gets cut short like it did. It just bit them. This is a great run here for Tim Bell. Got a new teammate this weekend, Brian Ortiz. Been a tough year for these guys. Best result was 4th place at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Had that massive crash Tim Bell did at COTA, and that was brake failure on the first lap of the race, and it was quite a ride here from COTA going down into the turn 12 braking area, Dorsey.
I was going to say, he's not only got a new teammate, he's got a new car. Watch this. No brakes.
Trying to downshift, trying to do anything to stop the car, including spinning it, and he gets a big passenger side impact with the, well, not tire walls, but crash attenuation barriers.
This is the same kind of a crash that we saw in qualifying early on with Max Riddle. His brakes failed at the back. He didn't have anything. I think he probably had some stuck throttle on there too from his foot being so far down. But in any event, these cars, when they don't stop at all like that,
It was over 150 miles an hour when he went to the brake pedal. I think got scrubbed off to about 130. So that was a massive impact, and all credit to the circuit there in terms of the safety barriers they have installed there. And this is not the same race car. No. This is their backup here this weekend.
And you look at those two wrecks in that Tim Bell wreck, you know, he had deformable structure. He went through a gravel trap, slowed him up a little bit. He tried to get it sideways to slow it down. Now, the other day, that was an unprotected wall that was hit. You know, it was head on pretty much. It was a really much bigger impact to the driver. Glad to see that Max was okay when he got out of that car.
Yes, we were all relieved.
It's a great little battle here between two teammates, two youngsters who are really making a name for themselves, sitting in the 2nd and 3rd spot. Alex Bolanos is in the number 96, and Cameron Lawrence, we saw him put some sensational laps together at Road America earlier this season.
Bringing the Hyundai Genesis Coupe to the series, which is good to see.
The guy they're chasing right now, pole sitter Kyle Gimple.
Kyle's had a really good year with this car, the Compass 360 guys.
Sharing the car with Brian Eversley. There's a look at our crew. They stood there in the rain, and now, thankfully, not raining so hard. They're not members of our crew, but we wish they were. Welcome back to the Continental Tire season finale from Road Atlanta. I'm Bob Varsho, along with Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. There is the new leader of the race and the GS class, Scott Maxwell, of Multimatic Motorsports Ford Mustang, because that car, the 01 Camaro of Eric Curran, complained of a stuck transmission. The car was stuck in gear, brought it to the pits, and the crew sent it behind the wall.
Not only was it stuck in gear, you ripped the gear shift completely out of the car, and it was in 4th gear.
Let's see what else we can learn with Chris Neville.
Well, Lawson Auchenbach not happy about that car being out of the race. So we saw that there's a missing gear shifter in that car. Did Eric say anything on the radio or why that broke?
Yeah, we're not really sure why it broke. It's just kind of one of those things, you don't ever expect the shift lever to break, but these things happen in racing. You know, it's been a long year. It's been a tough year, but I got to say hats off to everybody at CKS Autosport. I mean, Eric was doing a great job out there. He had the lead for a while there, and we were looking forward to the race because it's a big weekend, and we really wanted to do well for Chevrolet and try to get some help for the manufacturers' points and so forth, but this isn't our day.
Well, you two won the race at Road America just a little bit over a month ago, and the team is shutting the doors after this weekend, so you guys really wanted to try and win this race, end the season on a high note.
Yeah, it's been tough to kind of deal with. It kind of sat in this morning that, you know, this is kind of the end of the deal, but you know, Eric and myself, Kirk, Tommy, all these guys, we've been together for 3 years. It's been 3 great years. We had some highs, some really cool highs, especially the win at Road America this year, but a little bit of lows. But you know, it's a little sad to see it go. I'm not going to lie. And we all work well together, and hopefully we can maybe rebound again and do something in the future. But I want to say special thanks to everybody at Chevrolet. You know, this Camaro Z28R has been fast all year. We've been really, really quick. We just haven't quite had the finishes I think we deserved, and to end it on this note, it's a little heartbreaking right now, but we'll see if we can maybe get the car back out there and give it another run.
Well, 2 very good drivers on the market now. I'm sure we'll see them in something good next year.
Drivers are not athletes.
No,
you just ripped a 1/4-inch piece of plate steel out of the transmission.
Yeah, I mean, they're a tough driving pairing, and I thought they were going to be in contention for the championship. As Lawson just said, just didn't get the breaks and the luck that you need this year. But Trent Hinman certainly has got a nice run going here. He sits in the 5th spot. But right now, as the points would lay out, it would still not be enough. It'd be 6 points behind Andrew Davis in terms of today's results. That would not get him the championship, so he's got work to do still.
And Andrew Davis is in the front-running Chevy Camaro right now, which brings up another great championship battle. BMW and Chevrolet just 7 points apart for the manufacturer's title in Grand Sport. Remember, these guys are racing what the manufacturers make. These are not tricked-up race cars, purpose-built racing machines. These are production cars you and I can buy and drive, and that manufacturer's title is important. Let's go to Brian Till.
Kyle Gimple has led the ST category from the pole since the drop of the green. Ryan Eversley, his teammate, stands by. And Ryan, I know this has not been the season that you guys have wanted. You've had 2 wins, but you sit 11th in points. You could walk away at the end of the season with a victory to wrap things up. Does that kind of shine a little brighter light on 2015?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you're always as good as your last race, as I say. So if you can go into the offseason with a win, that would be fantastic. Kyle's been doing a heck of a job. He got the pole yesterday. It's his first pole, but I feel like he should have had a bunch more. It's a little BOP with the series, but it's okay. We won COTA, which was unbelievable. We couldn't believe that. But we came here knowing we'd be fast, wet, or dry. And it was wet earlier, which has helped us get a bit of a lead. But now that it's dry, Kyle's continuing to pull away in our HPD Civic. So we're pretty happy. I love this place. I grew up here, so it's always a fun racetrack to run at.
Did you guys make any changes to the car for the weather, or did you leave it pretty much the way it was for the dry?
Not really. Our car, because it's front-wheel drive, that's what hurts us in the hot running, but when it's cooler like this with the overcast air, it's not so bad. With the damp conditions, that helps us come off the corner a lot better. So, you know, hats off to Continental Tire, because we all have to run the exact same compound, and we never have any issues with that. But when you run a Porsche Cayman that's mid-engine, for example, versus Stevenson, number 9 with issues. That's bad for my buddy Andy. Versus a front-wheel drive car, you know, the front-wheel drive's just not as good on tire degradation, but we're having fun, man. It was a great year.
Great year, and they're leading here at Road Atlanta.
And while he can smile ruefully, look what is going on with the 9 car. This was the Stevenson Motorsports Camaro Z28R with the driveline change. And now, apparently, it has expired.
Johnny Stevenson there on the other side of the wall in the white shirt, watching his team here try and clinch a championship. I mean, they'll be very disappointed, but thankfully it isn't the championship leading Camaro.
Look at this. I mean, fluid pouring out of the back there.
Well, Dorsey just checked in with Andy Lally, and he said it's a head gasket, and this is a brand new motor. This is a motor they put in yesterday, and something that they haven't seen with these cars this year. So the team kind of scratching their heads in this one and hoping they don't have a problem with the 6 car.
Yeah, push that head gasket out, and then the water pressure goes crazy. It puts the combustion up into the fluid system, and you saw it just pumping out all the stuff. It's over with when you've done that.
Okay, Maxwell remains the leader, but everybody behind the 9 car moves up 1 spot, and that means Trent Hinman, points leader coming in, who started back in 17th, is now running 4th.
And that's good enough. If Davis stays there or the 6 car stays in second and he's fourth, that would be enough. But driver changes, strategy changes here before the end of this race. So it'll be a topsy-turvy weekend. And this is what a championship is all about. You love to see it, Dorsey, come down in the final race weekend and it's chopping and changing by the lap.
Yeah, you want to get in every position, regardless if you've got it in the back. You know, you just keep moving forward because you don't know what the other car is going to do either. And we're seeing attrition pretty early in this race, actually.
Watching Trent here come down through the S's. Real flow to this part of the racetrack. Lots of fun, particularly when the car has great balance. And he's trying to chase down Tim Bell, who's Matt Bell's brother, who currently sits in that 3rd spot in the number 28 Tim Bell Racing Nissan. But he's got a few seconds lead on Trent Hinman right now. But Trent will be, car off in 1.
Climbing the hill on that wet grass.
24, that's only a Porsche. Front wheel drive probably get out of there too, but that was just a mishap, and it came away actually pretty good. Most of the time you get up turn 1, you wreck.
A championship leader in ST. Oh, Mosing there getting a little bit sideways, up and over the curb, coming out of 5, and Valiente has closed in. Quiet start to this race for Michael Valiente, but I think that car is starting to find its sweet spot, and he looks to the inside. Remember, these are the 2 cars in the battle for the ST Championship, running right behind each other.
Funny how that works. They found each other.
Boy, traffic packing up, too. You noticed during that interview that we had bright sunshine here on the backstretch. The track is now almost fully dry, and you have to start wondering about the longevity of your tires.
Most of these guys started on slick, so I think they're good.
Valiente, he's picking up a little bit of a draft there. He looks to the inside, but it's damp there on the inside. He's got to be careful. Remember, his sole task here is keep the car at the front of the pack and hand it over to Wayne Nonamaker in good shape.
I don't like the way Michael's approached this. He's, you know, he let himself slip back, and I say that because he did that. He actually let himself be overtaken. He didn't panic. He just feel this car out, don't hurt it, you know. That's what he's up to.
And this is a guy who's a superstar in the Tudor Championship. Do you know what I mean? To come over here, be drafted in, you think, oh, he'd want to sit on the pole, he'd want to lead the race. No, he's here playing a role, and it takes a lot of real patience and discipline to do that, Dorsey, to come in here and not force the issue in these opening laps.
Coming up on 36 minutes into the race. 45 minutes is the magic number in terms of drive time with championships on the line. We'll take a break and return to Road Atlanta in a moment. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, where we are under our first full course caution of this, the final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for 2014. The Pombo family Freedom Autosport Mazda has crashed. There's Mark Pombo.
Had a great run going here today. He was running in the 3rd spot. Really good lap times, but now we see the car heavy impact on the exit of turn 12, Dorsey.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, but to take a look right now that this is a race that's been going on.
Yep, the 42, Michael Valiente in to try to help Wayne Nonamaker overcome Eric Foss for the Drivers' Championship in the ST class. Fell back early on, did Valiente, but now he's pushing to the front again.
This is the guy they're chasing in their championship.
Well, welcome back to Road Atlanta, where we are under our first full course caution of this final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for 2014. Here's the reason. Mark Pombo has crashed the family car from Freedom Autosport.
Exit at turn 12, had a great run going here today. Was running in the 3rd spot, so he'll be bitterly disappointed here to end the season this way.
Let's get you up to speed on what's transpired since we left you. The 42 in red, yellow, and black. Michael Valiente in to try to help Wayne Nonamaker overcome Eric Foss for the ST Class Drivers' Championship. Fell back early. Now he's coming forward in that Porsche.
And that was a move around the championship leading car there, currently driven by Jeff Mosing. So Michael, nice run here, now sits in the 4th spot.
And this full course caution, by the way, is taking place just after the 45-minute minimum drive time of the race, so it's timely. Here is Pombo's incident.
Oh, and this was very unfortunate. He admitted it was totally his fault. He was pushing the radio button to talk, and he got loose and just lost concentration.
Time for pit stops. Brian Till.
Little problem down at the 15. Scott Maxwell has climbed out. Jay Buford getting in, but a little delay on the left side with the Jackman so they're a little slow with the left front. Fuel going in. Scott Maxwell complaining, burning off the left rear tire a little bit. But other than that, the car handling well.
Brian Stevenson Group, Andrew Davis handling Robin Liddell, doing 4 Continental tires in this car. Andrew Davis telling Robin Liddell before he got in the car that the track is definitely drying, but be careful at some of the exits, especially up in turn 5. The curbing still very wet and slippery.
But look at that onboard. 4-line BMW jumps around Robin Liddell there on that pit stop exchange.
And so the 42 fall line car that started 17th in the field trying to protect Trent Hinman's chances of the Drivers' Championship are now in front of their nearest rivals in that number 6 Stevenson Camaro.
I wonder if they pulled a pit strategy right there, or just a really good pit stop.
Yeah, I think they would. Everyone would be topping up with fuel. I don't think you'd be short filling or anything like that right now. I assume that both teams did driver changes, which will obviously slow things down a little bit, but could have been just getting into your pit box. Certainly Trent was stacked up there with the rest of the pack, so he had no deficit other than a couple of cars coming into the pit lane, so could have just been the entry to the pit box. See John Edwards there now behind the wheel. He got separated from Trent at Kansas back in the middle of the year by being about 6 or 8 seconds shy of his drive time, so he's going to try and do this for Trent here today, but he will not be crowned a champion here tonight.
And keep in mind that manufacturer's battle still alive between BMW and Chevrolet, and Fall Line leads the team's title chase as well.
Hey, look at it right here. Comes the car out of its pit spot and takes that lead. That's the way you want to do it. If he didn't short fuel it, Calvin, it was a really good pit stop. One or the other.
Exactly what I was going to say. And we should point out, as you see, the track is virtually dry. We've got patches of blue sky overhead. A number of cars in this field started on Continental's wet weather tire, and the tire apparently just performed beautifully until the field got this opportunity to get in, get the driver change done within the time limits, and get a set of slicks on the car.
Of course, that was that warning about being slick on the exits to the corners. Well, of course, those are still a little bit wet, so you've got a good grip. Here come all the STs for their pit stops.
Carl Gimbel leads the charge down pit lane. Cameron Lawrence again. Really impressive performance by him. He's a star of the future.
Meanwhile, the Racer's Edge, number 68 Mustang, in the hands of David Calvert-Jones, did not pit and leads the race.
See the Sailors machine there rolling in fourth, but a bit of a gap. I think there was some GS cars in between them, so they couldn't stack up completely. And then you see the 56, the championship leading car, 3 cars further back in line. So now it's down to the pit crews to do their job. Valiente will turn it over to Wayne Nonamaker.
Right now, Ryan Eversley climbing into the number 75, and it is busy down here on pit road. It should be a routine pit stop for the Compass 360 team, but cars lined up back here, and at the back of the line, the 42. Wayne Nonamaker taking back over his championship now in his very hands, and he'll head back out to a racetrack that's beginning to dry. That's exactly what they want. 75 leads pits first.
Oh, look at this. The crew
he's
guy's
being
in the
held
way.
up by the pit crew ahead of him.
Unbelievable.
And an official.
You have to be aware. I mean, these are championships on the line here. A couple of seconds could cost him some track position. Looks like a good clean stop, though. It looks like they may roll out third in line. Not sure if any of the ST pack have stayed out there, so I'm not sure if this will be 1, 2, 3, or certainly will cycle through here.
I mentioned these are production cars. Do they keep the horn?
Yeah, they do.
Certainly the chrome one. But that's not in order here today. Okay, wrapping up pit stops. We'll reform behind the safety car and turn them loose. Titles on the line at Road Atlanta in the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. More drama for title contenders Robin Liddell and Andrew Davis in their Stevenson Motorsports Camaro. They started from pole in this race. They run behind John Edwards in for Trent Hinman in championship position. Let's listen to the radio transmission from Liddell to the crew.
ABS power fail alarm again. Copy that. Let's I want you to power cycle the car here, Robin. We need to power cycle the car. You gotta find a good time to do it on track. Let's try and do it down the back straight into 10. The radio's obviously gonna turn off, so you're gonna need to turn it back on once you do this. Copy that. I'm assuming we're going to commence the ways the class split at the beginning of the next lap. Is that correct? Okay, I did the master switch recycle, and as soon as I powered back on, the ABS power fail alarm came back on. I've also done an OBR reset. It's still on.
Mike, you sound appalling for whatever reason. I think I got that, but you sound very bad.
Robin, Mike wants you to work the bias around, dude, just in case we're going to have to run here with no ABS.
We are going green, back to green flag racing, and just to finish off that radio transmission, we couldn't let you hear all of it. Testing the pedal, Robin Liddell said it appears the ABS is working. The pedal was pulsing as it should. But that transmission gives you some sense of all that the drivers and the pit crews have to think about going through these cars when something goes wrong.
Well, look at this championship on the line right now. The 28 car, they just hit pit lane just before that caution. They've assumed the lead of this motor race. Timbal Racing Nissan, driven right now by Brian Ortiz. But this is the championship we're looking at right now. John Edwards trying to hang on in that BMW. If he holds that position right now and keeps Liddell behind him, they would clinch the championship for Trent Hinman here tonight.
Robin's got to be cognizant of that brake pedal. What he was talking about, that anti-lock brake system. And when it starts to fail, you can get into real big trouble. We've seen it twice this weekend already. That power reset was what he was doing, was he was resetting the computer, onboard computer, and trying to alleviate the ABS flag warning that he's been getting.
On board here with the 158, Billy Johnson there, going by his teammates side by side. Multimatic Mustangs down this back straightaway.
Give him a face full of mud for the effort.
Was Liddell looking for a move down to turn 10? He was. He's alongside Edwards.
And he's going to have the inside line for that next right-hander. So boy, oh boy, that Camaro is certainly showing its muscle down this back straightaway. Bear in mind they had a BOP adjustment before the last round at Coda. It's still strong.
Updating positions, if they were to finish in this order, Liddell second, Edwards third, Trent Hinman would still clinch the driver's title.
The other thing Mike Johnson said was to adjust the brake bias on that Camaro, and we might have to run without the ABS so they can turn it off. And that's what I'd be doing right now if I had a choice.
Yeah, that's a big adjustment, and it may cost him some lap time. So maybe right now he's just trusting that it's going to be there for him. He wants to get the lead of this motor race because that's where the bigger point spread is. It's 3-point spread between first and second. It's 2 points the rest of the way until you get into the lower positions in the championship standings.
Just updating you on the ST situation. Jason Rabe in a body motion racing Porsche Cayman did not pit under that full course yellow and has taken the lead in the ST class over Ryan Eversley.
There you see him climbing the hill out of turn 5, using all of the curb. Here comes Eversley, slicing down to the inside. Takes the second spot.
It's turn 6. It's a banked. It's the only banked corner on the track. A lot of fun, but you can get carried away with it. You go through it too fast, you can't get stopped for 7.
Meanwhile, our title contenders, Wayne Nonemaker runs 4th in class, and Eric Foss, the points leader coming in, is 9th.
That's a 6-point swing, so that would not be enough for Nonemaker right now. So there's going to be an ebb and flow to this point spread in both classes for these remaining hour and 27 minutes of this motor race. But I'm wondering on Edwards right now, he didn't seem to have the pace to really defend from Robin Liddell, but maybe the tire pressures could be the factor there. They're looking for the longer run with that BMW. Maybe it'll start to find its sweet spot.
There you see the championship standings as they run in the street tuner class. Foss by 3 over Nonemaker, Mosing 11 back.
Jason Rabe down into turn 1. Eversley starting to put the heat on. Cameron Lawrence has stayed behind the wheel of the 94 car, so he's double stinting here.
I think Wayne Nonemaker may have picked up a couple of positions in turn 1. Over the top of the hill and plunging down into the S's.
Yeah, he's done a great job this year. 4 times runner-up positions. Haven't seen the victory circle yet this year, but this would be the day to do it.
Let's go to Brian Till in the pit lane.
Andrew Carbonell is running 5th right now in ST and is number 26 from Freedom Autosport. But his teammate, Randy the Rocket Man Pope, standing here in pit lane. Randy, you've driven just about every kind of car around this Road Atlanta circuit. Conditions, though, at the start of this race that you endured, how challenging was it with these drying conditions?
So tricky, because you never knew what it was going to be, but it got better and better and better in the MX-5. The Mazda's the quickest car in the corners, tough to get by some of the faster cars. But then my Freedom Autosport team, they called a really cool strategy on the stop, and moved us way up in the standings. Andrew Carbonell's a terrific driver. he's going to win this race. I say he's going to win this race, Brian.
They've won 2 of them so far this year. They'd like to go out with another victory here. Chris?
Well, Trent Hinman started 17th today and drove that fall line BMW back up into the championship contention. But Trent, now you've got about 85 minutes on the clock. How hard is it going to be to watch those tick by?
You know, it's going to be tough, and these trying conditions aren't going to play in our favor at all. We're really hurting down the back straight for top speed. It's been the story all year, and I just hope that really doesn't affect who wins the championship. But either way, I can't be prouder of this fall line organization. This year has been absolutely fantastic. It's been a pleasure to drive the car. And once again, big thank you to all of our partners, Trimtex, Sirocco Zemo, Atlas Acon, and DFL Interiors. Also a big shout out to Continental and IMSA. It's just been a wonderful season so far. I'm gonna try to keep myself under control right now, but we'll see.
You know, Bob, I talked to Robin Liddell about racing against this 19-year-old for the championship. He said, man, that kid is fast. And you know what? I didn't even sit in a race car until I was 20 years old.
Trent Hinman is a talent, no doubt about it. But right now, he is out of the championship lead because his teammate John Edwards has fallen to 4th while Robin Liddell runs on the lead.
Yeah, that Camaro is just hooked up. Here we see him coming down in the brake zone for turn 10, Dorsey. Slides it down to the inside of Brian Ortiz.
Boy, and that, you know, you got to have total confidence to commit like that when you've been having brake problems. We see what happens when you have brake trouble down there. It's not ever good.
And there you see the pass for 3rd spot here. Billy Johnson getting around John Edwards. Billy Johnson has nothing to lose. John gets in there really deep. I think it's going to be an over-under move here by Billy Johnson.
Yep, outpowered him on the following straightaway. So Liddell moving up and Edwards falling 1 spot means a 2-point gap in favor of Liddell and co-driver Andrew Davis. We'll be back with more from Road Atlanta. Welcome back to Road Atlanta and the final round of the 2014 Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. I'm Bob Varsha with Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. We're under our 2nd full course caution of the day. Let's get you up to speed.
This is for 2nd position in the race. This is Billy Johnson going down to the inside. Brian Ortiz is having a great run here today in that Nissan. Nice clean move into turn 6, and as Billy said, he loves this racetrack.
Mistake made right here, drops wheels and gets in the grass that was wet, and you see the result. A crash on the front straightaway brings out the current caution.
That's John Miller in his ST class Honda Civic. As you see, Miller walked away, but as Dorsey mentioned, that's what brought out our 2nd caution, and Miller a little upset with someone else, and I'm not
I don't know
sure
why.
Here's our Continental Tire race recap. Robin Liddell on the points lead and in a championship position right now, while title rival Trent Hinman watches as his teammate John Edwards runs in the 4th position. Ryan Eversley leads in the ST category. Wayne Nonamaker and Eric Foss, the 2 contenders for the ST class drivers title, run nose to tail in 4th and 5th.
So lots to play for, and this pit stop is going to be really critical here. We're understanding that Robin Liddell has had continuing electronic issues here, having to work hard in the race car in terms of keeping the pace up, but also working with all of the systems, recycling that ignition system, Dorsey, and it has an effect on all types of things in that race car. Talked about the ABS system earlier. They've had him check that the pit lane speed limiter will work when he hits pit lane, so lots of things going on in that driver's head right now.
Here's some radio transmissions.
Okay, Robin, just to confirm, we're going to do a left side tires and a bar change, correct?
Copy. If you only have time for 2 tires, that's fine.
Okay, the other thing, right now we're going to be short on fuel, and we believe our automatic fuel reserve will not work. We believe the automatic fuel might not work, so we're going to just keep the best eye on fuel that we can and do our best. Right now there's an hour remaining.
That entire car is run electronically from one computer, one ECS, and ECU, sorry, and everything's affected, like you said, Calvin.
And also trying to shorten this pit stop by only taking 2 tires, so that could be critical later on in this run. Let's see how they do compared with the other guys. Brian's there.
158 is in, and it's going to be left side tires for sure. We'll have to wait and see if they go right side tires here for Billy Johnson. Checked in with Larry Holt. It is going to be close at the end of this race. He said, we've got to take it. Everybody else is. Dice are being rolled.
got to take this
Brian,
pit stop.
Robin Liddell in. They doing left side tires that we heard on the radio. Also a sway bar change because Robin Liddell saying that the rear tires on this Camaro were burning off a little bit in the late in the run. And Robin Liddell down and away. But as we've heard, this team really struggling with a lot of different electronics issues in that car right now. I think the biggest question mark is, can they make it on fuel? And it sounds like they potentially have a reserve issue with problem in that car too. So lots of things this team is thinking about.
Tell you what, the four-line car, as good as that first stop was, I'm sure if they were doing some adjustments for John Edwards there, but that was not the quickest stop. He lost a position there, it looked like.
Another car to look for that's sneaking up quietly is Rum Bum Porsche, who has been quietly back around 8th and 9th place. I think he just got 3rd place as he came out of the pits.
Miller's Honda is hauled away. There is the Rum Bum car.
There's sneak eye. Joe Vardy called that early pit stop strategy, got the driver change done. So these guys have been stealthily moving forward.
As the field forms up, get ready for a green flag after this break. This is the season finale for the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road Atlanta. Welcome back to Road Atlanta and the final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for 2014 here on Fox Sports. Robin Liddell remains the class leader as we get you up to speed. Here's the number 56 of Eric Foss making a pit stop, one of the few front-running ST cars to do so, and he tumbles well down the order.
Yeah, he does. It was going to be really tight to make it to the end of this race if we don't see any more caution on the fuel load that you had left. So, Brian, what are some of the other leaders saying in ST who didn't make the pit lane?
I just checked in with Compass 360 and Team Salins. The answer is the same from both of those camps, and that is we really needed another couple of laps of yellow to run race pace to the checkered flag. It's going to make it awfully tight. The green is now back out.
Now also, Robin Liddell runs on the lead. He was radioed by his pits following the pit stop. You've got 54 minutes to go and 52 minutes of fuel.
Oh, look at this. Billy Johnson roughs up Robin Liddell at the apex to 1.
They both better watch the 3rd place car. The Rum Bum Porsche has been quiet. They have nothing to lose. They're not in this championship.
That's right. Last time that Billy Johnson saw victory lane was in the final race of the 2013 season at Lime Rock Park for Roush Racing as they close the doors on their operation here in this championship. He'd love to close out this season with the win as well.
We went on board with Billy Johnson during the break, and he was shutting the engine off while coasting behind the safety car. So he may be tight on fuel as well.
That's one of the advantages of these big, huge elevation changes is that you can coast down those hills. Of course, you got to climb
look at this. This is tight here. Look at
John Edwards on Jay Buford.
Woo. They left enough room, but not very much.
Good respect there.
Yeah,
I think everyone in this championship knows who the championship contenders are, and that's the 46 and the 6. They're not going to make it easy, but they're probably not going to trade any paint unless they have to.
Edwards up to 4th.
There you see what Trent Hinman was talking about, Dorsey. He said we're struggling in straightaway speed. We're seeing it here again.
Yeah, the boxy front end on the BMW is not good for these long, high-speed straights.
Spoke to Mike Harvey, the team manager, the other day. He said our car's good when we hit 6th gear on the longer straightaways, as some of the other circuits we run on. It keeps pulling in 6th, but he said when we're tapped out in 5th, the other cars just keep coming at us, and I think that's what we're seeing here today.
So Edwards back to 5th. He looks down the inside of Buford.
Not yet. Not making it easy on one another.
Billy Johnson wants the lead, and Romler does trying to hang on. He recognizes they will need to maximize the points and hope that Edwards can't get back on his tail here before we see the checkered flag this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. You cannot quit digging. You got to just keep getting every position you can get.
There you see the championship standings as they run right now. John Edwards is going to have to get that BMW. He shares with Trent Hinman up to 3rd. Meanwhile, Billy Johnson on the attack on Robin Liddell.
2 wheels
6th.
in the grass, and he still held it.
Whoa, and he touched. There's a touch
him.
there in 6th.
And Matt Plum right there on the back of the Camaro.
Pressure on Robin Liddell right now. He cannot afford to drop any more positions with Edwards in the top 5. He just lost 3 points.
Ford, Chevy, Porsche up front, and meanwhile Edwards and Buford still dicing.
Watch this draft. It's a long, long straightaway, and you definitely get a tow here.
Look at Billy Johnson. He's just positioning. He's just positioning. He's going to hold that left side, then go to the middle. Try and make Robin go the long way around as we get down this brake zone. But the brakes on this Camaro are impressive. But Johnson comes back at him.
I'll try the over-under here. Billy
controls the corner, though. He's good.
Safe to say this is not going to help Liddell's fuel situation.
Not sure if Johnson took 4 tires or 2. We know that Liddell only took 2.
Crap.
Oh, he's balked
Slowing
there.
traffic.
Plum's going to try and get a run on him as they head down at turn 1. Watch for the run bar machine. Look at that. Here comes Buford as well.
Yeah, Buford with him.
Edwards in the mix.
Edwards watching.
He's going to try to get the Porsche in 1, and it looks like he does.
Well, he should. By the time they get to 3, he'll have him for sure.
It's back in line. That's the important thing. Get back in line for these S's. Yeah. Pressure cooker situation. If they run right now, it would be championship to Hinman. Change him by the lap.
You can run side by side through there, but you're slow if you do it. You're sitting duck for the guys behind you. Much better to get it sorted out.
Pierre Kleinhubing.
About to say that.
Hard in that Subaru. We expect him to shine if it was wet here for the whole day. I thought they were the favorite for the win in wet conditions with the all-wheel drive Subaru, but he's got some pace here in the dry as well.
Watch this. Billy gets a run off of 5. He's out here wide. Has to go in the dirt right here.
Just keeps his foot in it. That is superb driving.
And Liddell's thinking, I can't believe he's going to try that up the inside after putting 2 off.
Nothing to lose.
Billy Johnson's having fun. He did that 2-wheel off and he yelled on the radio, "Yeehaw, Dukes ahead."
And the crew is telling him, use it up, go ahead.
Things starting to settle down a little bit. The run bar machine seems to be fading back just a little bit here.
He got kind of his feathers ruffled back there, and there was a bunch of cars. Maybe he'll remount and attack. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have the pace. They surely haven't had a good year.
Let's not forget that manufacturer's championship as well. Mustang out front. It's really a battle between the Camaro and the BMW coming in here.
While the battle continues, let's go down to the pit lane and Brian Till.
Mustangs have been strong from several camps down here on pit lane. David Levine having a good run, and John Meraki's Racer Jazz Mustang. He shares that car with Austin Cindric. And Austin, your first time in a big car like this. You're a Formula car guy, a little Red Bull Global Rallycross, and now Continental Tire. How different is this Mustang from what you're used to running?
Oh, it's completely different, but I've got to adapt to it just like every other situation I've been in, between going back and forth between USF 2000 and back and forth between global rallycrosses. I mean, I got to adapt, and I think that's definitely helped me this weekend.
Biggest challenge of this car?
Getting used to the weight and the weight transitions.
Yeah, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He talked about all those different type of cars that he drives. Well, he comes from a pretty good racing family, too. Tim Cindric, his dad, president of Penske Racing.
That's right. I know Tim is very proud of what son Austin is accomplishing on the racetrack at a tender age.
Look at this.
Here comes the Subaru.
Flying.
Wow, that's the last thing John Edwards and Trent Hinman need.
Pierre can drive the wheels off of anything, and he's good with that all-wheel drive car.
Yep. He's been taking it in really deep into this brake zone. Edwards going to get it this time, but he's going to get worked over here a little bit by Pierre. Hanging on here.
Multiple-time champion is Pierre Kleinhubing.
Look what happens when you start to defend a little bit. You lose lap time, and he has lost the gap to that third-place running Jade Buford right now.
Down the front stretch they go into turn 1. Liddell and Johnson battling, Kleinhubing and Edwards. We'll be back in a moment to Road Atlanta with a look at the battles in the ST class. So stand by for more. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, getting ready for a green flag after our third full course caution of this final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for 2014. Off comes the Mazda pace car.
Green, green, green.
Billy Johnson will lead Robin Liddell, Jade Buford, John Edwards, and Matt Plum to the stripe.
Wow, Liddell just went. I heard the radio call, and then he made the move. It was close. Look at the run that John Edwards has. He looks to the inside of Buford. Buford defends. Matt Plum right behind these guys in that run bum machine.
To win this championship, you're going to have to race for it now. 31 minutes left. Both cars need to move forward. Robin has.
He has, and he was just told the information by Mike Johnson over the radio. As the positions sit right now, you have to get the lead of this race if Edwards finishes 4th. And he did it.
Also told he's good on fuel, he's good on power, go full race mode.
Only thing that's not good is that he's got probably a little ruffle Billy Johnson right behind him.
And we know what that's about.
Boy, looking at those shots of the S's and the climbs through turn 5, this is my home track. And we've been seeing shots like that since 1970.
Look Look at this, Carbonell starting to put the pressure on Eversley. Nonamaker runs in that 4th spot. And right now, Eric Foss is down in 13th. I think this would give the championship to Wayne Nonamaker. Eric Foss made that move earlier in this race by taking that 2nd pit stop. He's got to fight his way through the pack as Billy Johnson now on the attack for the lead.
Oh, this could get pretty ugly here if they allow it to be. One of the nuances of this racetrack on a restart is that the guy in 2nd place, if you back away a little bit, you're steeper on the hill, downhill run. You'll get a run going. Watch this.
Big battle right here. There's also John Edwards under attack from the Run Bum machine, a little bit further back in the picture.
So while the Stevenson 6 team is rooting for all the cars around John Edwards, the 46 Fall Line team is rooting for all the cars around Robin Liddell, specifically Billy Johnson.
And Robin is making a nuisance of himself with Billy Johnson. You'll have to watch that because there's some pretty strict people looking at you for blocking here.
This is going to be tight. Johnson slides it to the inside. It's going to be over the curb, and he takes the lead of the race.
I was just about to say, with half an hour to go in this race, the Drivers' Championship in both the GS and ST classes was 1 point. That has now changed as Robin Liddell slips back to 2nd. Advantage Trent Hinman.
And if Johnson can hang on for the win of this motor race, Liddell and Stevenson and Andrew Davis need help. Look at this, though. Edwards trying to fight his way to the 3rd spot.
He's on the outside of turn 6, and he's going to take that position.
That is huge. That is a big move here in the championship race.
Absolutely.
Look at that.
Whoa.
That's Wilkins to the inside. He gets chopped there by Buford all over the curb, and he touches the Run Bum machine coming off the corner.
He tried not to touch, did everything he could not to touch, but the car was just out of shape. He had to gather it.
Mantella Autosport Aston Martin's been very fast here this weekend. Anthony Mantella qualified up in the top 10, did a great job and a great opening stint. And Wilkins has some pace.
Things are getting dicey up here. Watch
Look at this. This is going to get messy.
It's yours. It's yours. Do it. Turn in.
Spotter at work there.
I was going to turn
one
in
of the
either
drivers. Key is who's
right?
Wasn't scanning. They all turn in.
Oh boy, what a fight to the finish this is going to be.
Wow, Liddell looks in his rearview mirror. He did not want to see the trim text machine.
Oh boy, that's trouble now.
28 car still very much up there in the hunt here. Brian Ortiz, we're looking at the Turner Motorsport guys trying to fight back here. TKS, Tom Kimber-Smith in the 12th position. They've led the last 2 races, had a great podium run at Coda, had a good run at VIR as well.
And with all that, you know, racing around going on up in front, that's not a bad place to be where he's at. Because one little mistake up on the front part here, and you're right there in it.
Wilkins up to 5th once again. He's going to try and put a move on Jay Buford once again.
Picking up the ST battle, Ryan Eversley ahead of Andrew Carbonell.
Little Mazda is really good in the corners, so this end of the racetrack is his. He'll be fast here, but when we get on that straightaway, he'll probably need the draft help.
Yeah, Road Atlanta has a split personality, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Turn 1 all the way to this corner, turn 7, then it's high-speed action the rest of the way. Oh, the first half is slow. Eversley would love to finish off the season with 2 wins in a row. Coming off that huge win. Look at this. Side by side again, Buford and Wilkins down into the chicane. I think Wilkins has got the pace here this afternoon. If he can just somehow sneak by the 15 car, I think he has the pace to maybe catch these front 3 in this race and look for a podium today.
Well, he's kept out of trouble all day. He's probably got, you know, some tire left under the car.
Meanwhile, in the ST Championship, Eric Foss has made it up to 11th place. Wayne Nonamaker still runs in 4th, so that shifts the title advantage to Foss by 1 point.
Couldn't be any tighter, Bob. This is very cool.
Climb the hill. You can't see the corner entry there at turn 2.
That's a fun corner that you flick it into 3 and kind of just float across the top of those curbs. If you do it right.
Drivers say you aim for the tree at the top of the hill. Look for it. There you see the trees?
He might have let somebody move the tree on me.
This is a big, big position right here. If Wayne Nonamaker can get around Tom Dyer, what a run the 88 car has had. Started from the very back of the pack. Corey Fergus put in a tremendous opening stint, getting the car up in the top 3. It's a great driver pairing, strong team, the Rebel Rock team. But for Nonamaker, he has to find a way around this other Cayman.
And Calvin, that team would sure like to finish strong. They've had fueling problems with that. Came in since back in Indy, back in July, and they've had numerous race weekends where they just haven't finished. They haven't finished well. Coming into qualifying here, they couldn't get that car running, so that's why Corey Fergus had to start at the back today, all the way back in 28th, and ran that car up to 3rd.
Yeah, it was an awesome, awesome run. But right now, Nonamega will be getting the information from his team. If you want this championship, you got to get one more position at least.
Another break coming up. Stand by for the dramatic conclusion both to the race and the season. The Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Welcome back. Coming up on 22.5 minutes remaining in the final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. There you see the ST battle, the 42 of Wayne Nonamaker pressing hard to move into 3rd place, and he needs to, because while we were in break, Eric Foss, the points leader coming in by just 1, moved up into 10th place.
He's now 9th, so that's a big swing. So even if Nonamaker gets by this 88 machine, Foss would still have the edge in the championship, but it's getting tight.
Brian.
It is incredibly tight. Talking to Michael Valiente, the 42 really hasn't been healthy from the beginning. Show me your hand and tell me what's going on with the shifter.
Well, at the start there, I went to shift gears, and the stick shift lever basically came off in my hand, so I had to put it back on, and each shift, I couldn't get into gear, so I kept dropping back until finally every shift I had to hit the lever, then pull, hit the lever, then pull. So I got a nasty blister, and I'm supposed to be driving the 43, but I need to be in good shape for tomorrow because I'm just here as kind of as a sub, so I got to rest my hand and rest up for tomorrow. But so far the car's in a good position for the championship, and hopefully they get a good position here in the final and maybe walk away with the championship too.
You had a full stint in that Cayman. How is the balance of it stay or go towards the end of a stint? What's Wayne going to have to deal with at the end?
I mean, he was going really, really loose towards the end of the stint when I was running, but the biggest struggle for me was just trying to shift gears and not rush it, and so it was a bit frustrating, but you had to be really patient and slow, so the pace really wasn't there in the beginning, but still, I think I came in 3rd or 4th, and that's where we're running right now, so we'll see what happens.
See what happens, but like you said, the balance goes away, and he's still fighting with that shifter. I asked Wayne before the race, said, you guys have all these lunch meat products, how would you classify yourself? He said, I'm just a plain old hot dog, but Michael Valiente, he's the real deal. He's a hot Italian.
He's got what's that, a salami?
He's got a ham fist right now.
Yes, he does.
Somebody's hood up there, guys. I just saw a moment ago, one of the cars in front.
Oh, this is Terry Borscheller making a move on Wayne Nonamaker.
Yeah, I've been watching. Terry's been coming.
Terry won this race here. Oh, that's a slide job there. Good stuff.
This is good stuff.
Good respect. They're giving each other some racing room. This is how it should be done.
Wayne makes a run on the outside. That's not going to stick. At the bottom here, Terry takes position.
Oh, maybe not. 2 wheels off. Dangerous in these muddy conditions.
Wayne Nonamaker's done a great job this year. He really has. I mean, good job of driving all year. Would have been neat. Hopefully, he's still in the championship. I'm not saying he's over with yet.
Yeah, Foss is looking strong though. He's up to 7th now as he climbs the hill there in that bright orange opposing supported race car. So
Kenny Marillo prepared car. I mean, it's good. It's a really good car.
So Nonamaker back to 5th. Foss up to 7th. 7-point gap in favor of Eric Foss for the driver's title.
And he was put under pressure there by them electing to take that second stop and top him up with fuel. He had to go back deep into this pack here today and just drive cleanly back all the way through. He can see Wayne Nonamaker. He won't need radio communication. He can see that 42 machine, and I'm sure all of these drivers in the championship hunt will have all of the math in their head and have studied it for the days and weeks leading into this championship finale.
That 22 white BMW just ahead of Eric Foss's Porsche is David Blom. BMW is pulling out the stops to try to win this manufacturer's title in the ST class as well. They brought in their Tudor United Sports Car Championship ace Bill Auberland to start that car, trying to grab every point they can. Uh-oh, what have we got here? Smoke in the air.
Someone's locked up.
Oh yeah, somebody with an engine failure, one of the 370Zs. Looks like that's tailpipe smoke.
Dave Empringham behind the wheel, a former series champion, of course, won a couple of seasons ago.
Whoa, big ride.
Well, he'd been running a little bit ragged through turn 12. That is a great job of hanging on to that race car.
I have seen so many guys crash when they get out there like that, and they get nervous and yank on the wheel. And
Terry used every year of his experience there to hang on to that one, and he's still right with Nonemaker.
And a couple prayers probably too.
Wow.
Terry. He tore some stuff off the bottom end of the car, though. You saw a bunch of things flying there.
Matt on the top.
I'm wondering if there's not some spoiler issue. Take a look. He's in trouble right there, big trouble. That's a good save.
Oh.
There goes the pieces.
You don't win a lot of national championships, as Terry Borcheller has.
Another full course caution, I think, for debris.
Number 4.
You know, it's probably all that stuff we just saw come off Terry's car in the front straightaway.
Or that
I don't know
car
that for
parked
sure.
out in turn 10B.
Or both. Yeah, yeah.
Here's what happened to the 41.
Oh, this is an oil down situation, more than likely. That's what they're going on caution for. That's at the bottom of the S's, and that's not a good place to have an oil down. Not that there's any good place, but that's not a good one.
Tell you, this restart may not be good news for us. John Edwards, Mark Wilkins has just got around John Edwards to move up into the 3rd spot. Edwards now 4th, so the championship lead remains with Hinman by just 1 point. But Edwards is going to have Plum and Ortiz all over him when we go back to green.
Yeah, the odd thing is last year's race was won by John Edwards driving that car, the number 6 Camaro from Stevenson Motorsports. We'll be back to Road Atlanta. Back at Road Atlanta, still under our 4th full course caution of the race with less than 13 minutes remaining, and the pits are now open. Ride with Billy Johnson, looking for the first win this year for that Ford Mustang Boss 302. And now with Robin Liddell, he and teammate Andrew Davis started from pole in the Stevenson Camaro. They are in a championship position, potentially, but just 2 cars back as John Edwards, his teammate Trent Hidman, holds the championship lead by 1 point provisionally. We've got about 12 minutes to decide it.
We've got some players in this game, though, that can have an effect on that championship. Mark Wilkins has a really fast race car, done a great job. Open with Anthony Mantella, now Mark's up to 30. He's got a fast race car. Liddell was on the radio saying, I'm not sure I can hold him off. And then you got that rum bum machine. David Ortiz, really, really strong as well. So, Brian Ortiz, excuse me. So, lots to play for here.
12 minutes is a hard, long time to try to hold somebody off. They got a better car than you do. Robin needs a really good start here, and he's going to have to drive pretty aggressively.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying before, you can get a downhill run. The way this structured racetrack is, if you start back further in the pack, you're on a downhill run when the other guy's on a flat down here. It gives you more top end going into turn 1.
I'll tell you one thing,
right
Billy
here.
Johnson needs a better start than he had on that last one, because Liddell was in the lead by the time they got to the apex of the last corner.
You can jump a guy there. I mean, that's a good trick at this track.
During the break, we heard a radio transmission between Robin Liddell and his Stevenson team, and Liddell was saying, I don't think I can hold off that Aston Martin, especially in the twisty bits between turns 3, 4, and 5.
He's just confirming to Mike Johnson that he knows he's got his work cut out for him here. That Aston looks pretty mean to me, too.
Yeah, they've had an up and down sort of season, struggled a little bit with their ABS on the car in the early part of the year, and then showed some performance here, and they never really has quite clicked, though. Had good pace at Coda, qualified up there in the top 10, got taken out on the first corner of the lap, but they got Wilkins back out there, and he was one of the fastest guys on the track in that rain race. So they felt whatever the conditions were today, they would have a pretty good race car, and it's now showing it'd be great for that team to finish off their year, their inaugural season as a group.
Oh, yeah, and then there's these guys. They're having this war, too.
Ryan Eversley in the Honda leads the ST class over Andrew Carbonell, Tom Dyer right there, and then Wayne Nonemaker in the hunt for a championship.
Don't forget that manufacturer's chase here. Porsche leads it right now. If they sit like they do right now in the top 5, they'd clinch here tonight. Also in the GS standings, big manufacturer battle there between BMW and Chevrolet, which right now would swing the way of BMW. Ryan, this is his home track. Saw his dad in the paddock yesterday. He'd love to get this one home tonight.
There's the 56 of Eric Voss. He holds the advantage as they run in the ST Drivers' Championship.
That was this racetrack like the back of his hand. Worked for the Panos Racing School for a number of years.
Lights are out on the pace car.
10 minutes left in this season.
it's going to be a frantic 10 minutes, I can tell you that.
So cool for these championships to be positioned as they are right now.
It's cool when you come down to the last 10 minutes like this. All the players know where they stand. They all know what the job is they have to do. And it puts on what we're about to see, which is a really good race.
Let's watch Billy Johnson's restart this time. I think he's going to get on the gas a little bit sooner.
John Edwards laying back just a little bit in the red, white, and blue BMW.
That's what he did on the last run. I tell you what, he could be all over Wilkins when they get to this front straightaway.
Billy's gone. He's going.
Yeah.
He didn't
and Edwards has laid back way too much this time. So Edwards is going to have to defend from Matt Plummer as they get to turn 1 as well.
Oh, yeah.
You learned that lesson.
Totally different restart this time.
Yeah.
So I think Edwards was banking on what happened last time, and Johnson was gone like a bullet this time.
Yeah, you got to use that hill to your advantage. I mean, if they'll let you get away with it, you got to go early.
This is the critical positions right here. Because if Edwards cannot defend from the run bar machine, that could be the championship swing right there.
On board with Liddell. Johnson ahead.
Wilkins just now catching back up. He had the worst of the 3 starts.
He's going to be a factor in this for sure. Yeah. 8 minutes to run.
Yeah, I think so.
He could do Trent Hinman and John Edwards a huge favor right now by getting past that red and silver Camaro.
Good news for Liddell is that Mark's one of the cleanest guys out there, so he's not going to be super aggressive. And all of these guys would know how the championship sits. They want to gain a position. They'd love to win here this afternoon, but they're not going to spoil someone's year for a couple of points.
Well, at the top of the show, Robin Liddell told us he did not want to win this thing.
Oh, bump draft, and he's actually helping.
Getting pushed, that's going to help him.
Yeah, he's helping him.
Watch your tees, he's coming. He's got a lot of speed in that Nissan this afternoon. Edwards in the middle.
Liddell said he wanted to win this championship in a straight fight with Edwards and Hinman, and he's getting one.
We got to watch if that happens every lap. I mean, that is a huge advantage for John Edwards to have somebody help you out. The fact that you're weak in the straightaway.
Picks up about 3 car lengths.
Look at this. Wilkins looks to the inside.
Now Plum looks down the inside of Edwards. Not close enough. Yeah. Chris Neville in the pits.
Well, Mike Johnson trying to steer his team to a championship. And Mike, you've got the Mustang out front. You've got the Aston Martin right behind you. Is there anything that Robin can do in these last 10 minutes?
I don't know if there is anything he can do, but he's doing everything he can do. I can tell you that. I mean, there's nobody else I'd rather have in the car than Robin. No matter what happens, it's been a really great year. Been a great year for the Camaro, the Z28. You know, we've really been trying so hard to get this championship for John and Susan Stevenson. They absolutely deserve it. And if we lose by 1 point, you know, you can look at every race through the year and find out where that 1 point was. But, you know, it's still not over. He's holding that Aston Martin off, and that Rum Bum car's pushed on the 46. So we've got, what, 6 minutes left, and I know he's going to give it everything.
Well, he's trying to get everything out of it, but we know they've been struggling with electrical issues in that Camaro all day.
Well, it's only got to hang on for another 6.5 minutes.
Boy, and look at John Edwards, how much of a gap he got away from the run bum Porsche, because he's good on that infield.
Yeah,
debris there.
He needs it, though. Look at this. Look.
They just hit that
Wilkins
debris.
to the right-hand side, down into the brake zone. Robin's going to have to take it in really deep. He knows that every position right now is critical.
Holds him off for this time anyway. And Wilkins is clean, like you said he would be, Cal.
Tell you what I love about this race is listening to the radio communication between Mike Johnson and Robin Liddell. They have kept him in the big picture, telling him about where everyone is, what he needs to do, what he needs to do with electronics, how to cycle the equipment.
Here we go.
It's been a great race.
Wilkins will have a run down into turn 1.
Robin defends.
Yep.
It's going to be a long 5.5 minutes here.
Yes, I think
now Liddell's still not at the championship lead by 1 point.
Look at this. Wilkins has got to run. He's got to the right side into the brake zone for 3. Can Liddell hangs on? He does.
And he let him. I think he let him have that corner.
Wilkins is working him over. Edwards not that far away. He really gets through turn 3 very, very well, but he needs to. He needs to gap that run bump machine before they get to the back straightaway.
Edwards really good on this end of the racetrack. I don't even think the run bump machine has intention to pass him if he could.
That Aston Martin has got great balance there, Dorsey.
Yeah, it's good through here. Works the outside. Robin's not giving him any opportunity not to go inside.
But look how much lap time he's losing. Everyone's catching him right now by being defensive. Oh, Wilkins goes to the inside. He gains the position. He's got him.
That makes life more difficult for Robin Liddell, teammate Andrew Davis, the Stevenson team. And John Edwards is right there to try to seal the deal for his teammate Trent Hinman in the Drivers' Championship.
I said it before, if you're going to win this thing, you're going to win this race, you're going to have to race for it, and that's what they're doing.
One more quick break, then we'll take you to the checkered flag and decide the championships in the 2014 Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge season. Battling down at a 10. We'll let you know how it turns out. Back at Road Atlanta. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the final round of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. When we went to break, it was Johnson, Liddell, Wilkins, Edwards, and Plum. As we come out of break, it's Johnson, Liddell, Wilkins, Edwards, and Plum. You haven't missed a thing.
Well, that was at the stripes because Wilkins did have Liddell
position
for half a lap, but going down in that break zone, as we could see as we went to break, Edwards went to the inside, Liddell went to the inside, and they went a little bit door to door, but it's nice clean action here as he now has to defend again on the break zone for turn 6.
I tell you, Liddell is driving beautifully from a defensive posture. He's just taken away every line.
Same as last time, same as last time. Cut and paste.
And here John Edwards gets a little run too. He needs that drafting help. Those two bigger cars in front will help his cause. He's going to have to make a move if he does it somewhere down by turn 1 to get a gain.
Look how the Aston and the Camaro
Here comes the Porsche. See if he helps him.
Look at Wilkins. He's taking a different defensive strategy here. He's taking to the left side here, making Robin Liddell go to the right this time. He learned his lesson on that last one, but Liddell is so good on the brakes. The Camaro is awesome down there.
He'll hold him through this round.
Oh, he rubs him. He turns him.
And now it's around. Here comes a Porsche.
And Edwards got by Liddell.
Yeah, but is this all going to stick with the that guy's in the tower?
That's huge. That's
Keep digging,
huge.
still green. Dig, dig, dig.
Ryan Ortiz.
Woof. Things looking ugly for Liddell right now as Edwards sweeps by for second spot after that contact in turn 11.
Race control says the incident is under review. Ortiz go by. Matt Plum trying to get by. He can't get it done. Meanwhile, Ryan Eversley continues to lead the ST class. And the championship advantage remains with Eric Foss, who is just 2 positions behind Wayne Nonemaker.
Liddell. Liddell's cut a tire down, I bet.
There's a look at the ST battle. Some problem for Robin Liddell.
Yeah, I bet he cut a tire down, maybe left front.
Can't really say yet, but boy, that's a shame after what a drive he put in.
Bob, listening to the team on the radio, Robin Liddell reporting back after that contact that something was wrong with the steering of that Camaro. He said the steering is broke, steering is bent, and he apologized to the team. He said the championship run is over.
Wow, look at that input he's having to put in that steering wheel.
Yeah, and you could tell the way he
Steering's
that.
bent. The steering's bent.
Got a tie rod broke or something.
Sorry, guys, I had to go.
He did. He had to go for it. He had to put everything on the line. He could see the championship picture in his rearview mirror with Edwards right there. He had to push for that position.
We expect the white flag this time by.
Billy, white flag +4. No Brent from behind.
There's your confirmation. White flag waves. 1 lap to go for Billy Johnson, Ian James, and their Mustang.
Ortiz trying to hang on to.
Matt Plum says, thank you. You gather yourself up. I'm going around the outside. Or is he?
No, he doesn't have it yet. Ortiz is hanging in there big. This would be huge for Tim Bear Racing if they could hang on for a podium here today.
He couldn't drive much harder than that. Might be better if he stayed on the road next time, though. But
been focused on that driver championship, but also the BMW will be in the prime seat for that manufacturer's championship as well. Let's have another look, Dorsey.
Robin, the brakes on this Camaro, look at that. Dives it in there. Everything's good so far. We know we're going to go side by side.
You can see Wilkins there. He's still there.
Yeah. Yep. There's the rub. Left front got into the right rear of the Aston. I mean, it turned it. You'll see it better this way.
This is just really, really hard racing here. I think there's a little brush before they even get to the point where I think there's a light brush there and then there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it might have, that's what bent the tie rod for sure. Everybody else scrambles around.
I don't know. I think that was good, hard racing between those two boys.
Yeah.
And you knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be.
I think Wilkins was trying to play it clean. He had the faster race car, but Liddell was not going to give it up, obviously.
And when you start doing outside passes on the outside of corners and stuff like that, you're taking your slow percentage. You know, anything might happen, and it did.
Oh, man, look at the engine bonnet bouncing
Yeah, that's
up
the one I was
down.
talking about. Yeah. Carbonell's car has got a hood pin missing. It's not helping his cause.
No, they struggle on the straightaway.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, off the final corner, the day began with rain, but it's all bright sunshine now for Ian James, Billy Johnson, and the Multimatic Motorsports Boss 302 Ford Mustang.
Edwards sweeps across in second spot. That will clinch the championship for his teammate. What a day for them and BMW.
And it looks like Ryan Eversley is going to be able to pull away just that little bit.
Yeah, that hood just killed Carbonell's straightaway speed.
For 2 in a row here to finish the season.
Through 10A, 10B, up the hill, under the bridge, and plunging down to the checkered flag. Congratulations to Ryan Eversley, Kyle Gimple, and their Compass 360 Honda Civic.
But our championship.
There's the 42 of Wayne Nonamaker and the 56 of Eric Foss just behind him to decide the Drivers' Championship in ST in favor of Foss.
Awesome. Great job.
Wow, what a race, what a day here at Road Atlanta. What a season of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. We'll be back to hear from our winners and champions. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. The 2014 season is now complete in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. The 2015 season begins right away, January, from Daytona International Speedway. Look for it Friday, the 23rd of January. We will see you then. But first, we have to hear from our race winners and our champions. We'll begin with the race results in Grand Sport.
Well, first win for Mustang and Billy Johnson since the finale in 2013. Edwards hangs on to that second spot, and that clinches the championship for his teammate Trent Hinman.
Let's hear from the boys from Multimatic with Brian Till.
Ian James and Billy Johnson. And Ian, I know it's a 12-race series, but it had to seem even longer for you guys because you just weren't getting the results. How special is it to end with a victory?
You know, this is such a great event for us, you know, to win the last race of the year, but I'd like to take this opportunity to dedicate this to Roger Miller, you know, because without his foresight and vision, we wouldn't be here. We miss him lots, but Billy did an awesome job today here. Ford power, Continental tires, it was rocking, but he made it happen.
Yeah, you were not to be denied there at the end, Billy. I mean, you were charging hard for you. Talk about 12. It's been 12 months since you've won here in Continental Tire. It wasn't going to get away from you, was it?
No, but I have to say, while it's been a really tough season, Ian's done a phenomenal job. The team has never once got down, and this is their win. They definitely deserve this, so dedicate this to everyone at the shop who has been going through all the trials and tribulations through the whole year and never slacking off or hanging their heads at all. They put in 10 tenths, and it's great to be a part of the team. And also, I'd like to dedicate this to my grandmother who passed since COTA.
It was a great weekend for these guys. What a way to end the season. Bob?
Now let's talk championship in the Grand Sports class.
Well, as you can see, Hinman is the champion. His teammate, John Edwards, who is split by him with a time infraction at Kansas. He sneaks into that second spot with Adele struggling there in the final couple of minutes of this race.
GMW wins the GS Manufacturers Championship, Fall Line Motorsports, the team title, and their man Trent Hinman is the drivers' champion. He's with Chris Neville.
And Bob, John Edwards, Trent Hinman get 2 wins on the year. Trent Hinman, just 19 years old. You come away with this championship. Last night you went to bed knowing you were going to have to start at the back of the pack today, but you come away with the championship.
Man, I was just pushing as hard as I can. I mean, whenever I'm in this position, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm in total shock right now. It's not going to sink in for a while, but John's stint was absolutely incredible. I was just able to take advantage of the wet track in the beginning, and that really helped us. But to race on a completely dry track that we know we had some issues with earlier on in the weekend, especially on the back straight, it's unbelievable that we were able to hang on. It's just been an incredible year, an incredible fight all the way to the finish. It came down to the last 2 minutes of the season, but I can't thank everybody enough. It's incredible.
Great year, guys. Congrats to both of you.
No question about that. A great year, especially for Trent Hinman. Now to the Street Tuner class. Here are the race results.
You see once again, Ryan Eversley picks up another win for Honda. Of course, Andrew Carbonell there in the Mazda with the hood up, couldn't do the straightaway speed. Dyer, a good run for Porsche, then Terry Porcheller.
And the championship standings.
8 points back there, you see. Eric Foss ends up winning over Wayne Nonamaker. Did a great job this year. Jeff Mosing, 11 back.
Let's hear from the winning duo of Eversley and Gimple. Here's Brian. Excuse me, Chris Neville.
Well, Ryan Eversley, Kyle Gempel come away with the ST win today. You guys had the caution that you needed, and you get the big win.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a little bit of a question on fuel mileage when we had the first yellow, and when the next two cautions came out, unfortunately, my teammates were wrapped up in them, so I'm really sorry for those guys. But that's what we needed to keep the tires cool and to make the fuel mileage run. And so at the end, it was just trying to hold off Carbonell, who was flying. I think I went off the road on the exit of the last turn. I got dirt all over the car. So thanks to Compass 360, Honda, HPD, and the Children's Tumor Foundation, and Kyle Gempel for dominating his opening stint.
Congrats, guys. Great way to finish the season.
The ST team title goes to Murillo Racing. The manufacturer honors to Porsche. And the driver's champion is Eric Foss. He's with Brian Till.
Three quality drivers down here. Ken Murillo, who actually owns the team, doesn't drive anymore, but quite a shoe in his day. Jeff Mosing and Eric Lux. Jeff, for you, you don't get your name on the trophy along with Eric's, but I think everybody else here knows that this championship belongs to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I did my part, but honestly, everything that I do in the car, I attribute to my guy right here, Eric Foss, because, you know, everything I learned 5 years ago, we were up on podium here. It was my first podium ever, and I shared it with him, and I knew that was destiny. We were going to be racing together for a long time.
If it weren't for that bad back at Mazda Raceway, you'd be right there. But Eric, it's your name that goes in the book. It's your championship. How much math were you doing in your head out there today?
Well, Ken and Jake both do a phenomenal job with all the math on the car. I mean, we made a strategy to come in for fuel because if it stayed green for the rest of the way and we were plotting against, we knew we had to be like 12th or better. They tired me up, put me out with fuel. Car was actually really good, and you know, I just can't say enough about these Continental tires. Stayed under us. Jeff is an amazing, amazing teammate. The drive at the start of the race he put on to get up toward the front was just flawless.
Congratulations on the championship. Chris?
Well, Wayne Nonamaker just 7 or 8 points back in this ST championship. Wayne, you guys were right there all day long, but obviously you're worn out too.
The crew called a great strategy. The team sailing car was just awesome the whole race. They did great pit stops. At the end of the race, one of the cars ahead of us was dumping oil for about the last hour, so I just got fumigated. Still trying to catch my breath, but you know, had a hard, great race at the end. We hardly had any tires, but the Continental tires did great hanging on. We gave it all we had and came up just a bit short, but a great season for the team sailing effort.
Yeah, trying to get some fresh air down here and hanging onto the pit wall. What a great season, Bob.
No question about it, Chris. You can't have great champions without great rivals, and everybody has made this a terrific season. Well, gentlemen, we get a few months off, and then it's back to Daytona to rack them up and start all over again.
Yeah, it's going to be a short off season with that Daytona race coming up fast, but what a tremendous season. We've seen some great battles throughout the year, and the fact that the championship was staged here coming into the final race, obviously the way it was, and then, like people said, the last 2 or 3 minutes of this race decided the outcome and ultimately decided our champions here today.
Take a look at the 2015 schedule. We show it there. There's nothing better than racing to the last lap of the last race of a championship, not knowing. It's pretty cool.
It's been great fun. We're glad to have you with us today. We hope you'll be with us all of next year here on the Fox family of networks. A terrific season comes to a conclusion here in the hills of North Georgia at Road Atlanta. We'll leave you with some of the highlights of this 2014 season in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Boy, Daytona seems like a long time ago. And then Sebring, and away we went. We're all sitting here watching television. It's like going through your scrapbook of all the great moments of the season. We'll see you from Daytona in 2015. For now, for our entire Fox Sports team and my colleagues Calvin Fish, Dorsey Schrader, Chris Neville, and Brian Till, I'm Bob Varsha. Thanks for joining us in 2014. Now it's on to Daytona and 2015. So long from Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia.